Thank you.
Hello, Pat.
Hi, Auntie Anna.
Look, I've just basically been so busy. I had to run, dash to the bathroom. I had a shower after I had my meeting with my uncle and the family. I didn't even have time to bang on, so I'm going to have to put on my hoodie.
Okay, that's good. Nice to see you again.
Same here, darling. Give me 2
Okay.
seconds. I need to place that. Children, how are we? Hello, Richard.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good evening, Patience.
Thank you so much, Richard, for joining in. I apologize for the short notice sent to everyone. I apologize. But this idea just came to me this morning, and I felt I should do this, you know. So I apologize, and I appreciate you guys for taking our time to join in.
Okay, I actually, for some reason, I thought it was 6 o'clock. So I logged on at 6 and then realized I hadn't left it on. That's the reason I sent you that message.
Okay.
I logged on. But later I read your message again. I think you were telling me that it was 7. So it's fine anyway. Yeah, good to be here. Thank you.
No problem. I do appreciate you for joining in.
Yeah.
I will just go straight to the reason why I had to put this together. The reason I had to put this together is because of the the SARS, and I feel this is a good step in the right direction, and it's happening in our time. Now, we the youths, we've been deprived of any progress in Nigeria. And a lot of you out there, you are working your ass out to make a living. But if only there was enough security for you guys back home, I'm sure that you guys will come home and give it your best. No, but the security, so the security is not allowing you all come back home to give the best. You work your ass. So I said, let's talk about it. Now, this protest going on, do you think it's going to make any impact? Do you think, what are your expectations? Even if the government do not respond to us, what do you think we should do at this point? But I'm proud to use this medium to lend my voice out there in support to those protesters on the streets. Now, most of us cannot be on the streets, but we can also talk to the right people so that they can hear our voice.
No, the old one.
So I'd like to welcome everyone who is here today. Thank you, Auntie Anna, for coming on. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Emeka. So I will pass the mic to you now. Auntie Anna was the first person who came on. So Auntie Anna, what do you think about the protest? Do you think it's going to make any impact?
Oh, most certainly. It will definitely, it's already making impact. You can see the volume of the youths out there on the streets. The most interesting thing is the international world is watching. The world at large is watching. I think it's about time. You know, I always make a reference to Fela, and I can barely hear so much noise in the background somewhere. I always make reference to Fela, and I've been watching a lot of his video clips from way back when he criticized governance in Nigeria. And everything is like he was a fortune teller. Everything that he spoke about some 3 decades ago is happening now. But I think our youths, the youths of today, are much strong-willed than our generation. Like, I'm in my early 50s, and I remember as a student back in Nigeria, coming out to protest against the police was almost an impossibility at the time. I watched my cousin shot dead in Yabatek, Felix, right there before my eyes. He was coming out of his room, there was a protest going on, the police went on rampage and shot him right in the head. And I've heard of stories of people that I'm affiliated with where they've been harassed badly by police. I myself have been a victim of the police recently when I went to visit Nigeria. I had my nephew in the car. We were driving along TV Road. I was taking him to Uniben in school. Just because he was wearing the tattered jeans, my vehicle got stopped and he was told to come down. And I was like, that's my son. And the police was like, can I have your phone? And I snatched the phone and said, no, you can't have the phone. And he's like, madam, I'll fire. I said, you might as well go, but I promise you, your entire lineage will be wiped off the surface of the earth if that was to happen, you know? And these are kind of harassments that I've heard about. And I think the youths of today have that strong willpower to be able to make a difference. They will make a difference. I know someone was saying to me that in 2012, I actually witnessed Occupy Nigeria because I got stranded in Nigeria for a couple of weeks. And they said, I don't know, it's similar, it will just happen and then nothing will happen, or the government will try and, you know, play around things and get people to calm down and return back to normal, but things wouldn't change. I don't think that's the case. This generation are definitely going to make that change that we've all been looking for. And I'm strongly looking forward to that change. I know there's going to be a lot of lives lost in the process. There's no doubt about that. A couple of people will definitely sacrifice their lives for the nation, but I strongly believe that the government is going to listen. They will listen. They might not make that huge change impact that we all so much desire, but I know that they would make a change somewhere along the line. Because they're having sleepless nights as well. They are afraid, because I can tell you that the police themselves are likely to turn around at some point, because there are people out there inciting the fact that this uprising is not just about the youths, it's also to the benefit of the police. And we all know that the police force is cankerous, it is polluted. And when they talk about poor pay, it's not just about poor pay. Why? It's not about that. It's not really about the police harassing people and making this money for themselves. I know that their DPOs, their IGs, the Inspector Generals, they give them monthly targets outside of their level. They'll say, you have to deliver this amount. I don't care how you make it. And this filters down all the way to the very grassroots police level. So it's not a case of, oh, these people just want to make the extra money for themselves. If they were really and truly, let's ask ourselves one or two questions. If these policemen were actually making this money for themselves, they will be driving all the flashy cars that they're killing these young chaps for, or having mobile phones. They're actually paying back to their bosses. They're actually being told to make targets. And I know this because I have a couple of friends who are in the police force who actually, you know, from a legal point of view, because I studied law, so I have some friends who are in the legal practitioner, but also work for the Nigerian police. And they say this sometimes when we crack jokes, they're like, don't worry, Anne, you find money. Don't worry, my boys could bring 100K. I'm like, today you get a return of 100K. And this is like an investigating police officer. He's not even an IG. And he said, I'll sit down there now. With a return to our guy, they take like 1 million every day. So that's where the money goes to. So, you know, the issue needs to be addressed from the very top. Like I said, the head is rotten. And because the head is rotten, it's filtering down to the very foundation. So, you know, I think this will make a change, because the policemen are also scared now. They're scared for their lives. They're scared for their families. You know, they know that there's a reform needs to be made or done at some point. And if they join forces with the youths, it would. They are sick and tired of protecting all these rich people making all the money for themselves. So that's the way I see it. I strongly believe that this uprising will make a big change. It will. This has gone down in history. People are coming out to give these youths food, drinks. I'm so impressed. You know, for the first time in 52 years of my existence, I'm proud to be a Nigerian. Even my children out here, yes, I am. For the first time, I can boldly say I am very proud to be a Nigerian. My children don't live in Nigeria. They were all born here and raised here. They all went out to rally. They went out. My son is 32. My daughter's 20. She left Portsmouth, came to London, and they went to rally. They were all so proud to say, we are Nigerian youths, you know, and they want a difference. They hate how they harass young people every day in Nigeria. And I'm really happy. I really am happy. I'm proud to be a Nigerian mother right now. You know, even if I lost a child in the process, I would know that my child died for a good cause. It's about time this whole nonsense stops. I don't care if I have family in government. I said to my family, I said, look, whatever position you hold in government, this is the time for me to hear your voice and know that you guys are there for a purpose. You're not just there to make your family comfortable or for you to be administrators. You're there to make a difference. You also need to come out, send your children out onto the streets. Let them go out there and protest. Let them make a difference. Let their voice be heard. And I'm really happy. I really am. Like I said, I'm very proud. You know, very, very proud to be a Nigerian right now. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Auntie Anna. Richard, what do you think about all that?
So no, I think,
what's your take?
I think what she said, what Anna said, and Anna, if you don't mind if I address you as Anna,
no, that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
What she said, I think they're very, very valid. I'll take a slight disparate view and look at it even in a bit more from a fairly slightly deeper perspective. Now, so the police itself and the End SARS uprising, I think it's just a tip in the iceberg, tip of the iceberg rather. I look at it that there's a huge amount of the oppressed, and you're giving power to some people within the oppressed, and what will happen is that people that you have given power, I mean and by giving arms, what will happen is those people will turn against other people who are oppressed and take from them. So for example, most people are suffering, majority of the people in Nigeria are suffering, and you've given a small number of people arms, and what they will do and what they've been doing over the years have been that they're turning on the other people who are oppressed and taking from them. So that is what I think has been happening. Now, I think it's beyond the End SARS, and we're thankful because there was an inroad. They used the End SARS as an avenue to start this. But I think it's beyond the police force. I think it's, again, you mentioned cankerous, and I'm addressing you now. The whole system is cankerous. The whole system needs to be changed. I do know that, yes, they might not be able to achieve that at this point. But I suspect there is something different about this compared to the other. There is something, one of the things, there is no leader. I was talking about this earlier on in the day. There is no leader. And when you get people sort of with a unified voice crying out and saying, listen, we want change, and you can't physically point out who is leading, it's a big problem for them. It's a big problem for the government, because what they would typically do when they want to address things like this, they would go and look for who is leading and try and either pay them money to shut them down or kidnap them or eliminate them, something, but at least they can address those people. But now there is no leader. So who even to address? I suspect that they're panicking. I mean, I was having this conversation earlier on, and the person I was speaking to was saying, well, they're not too sure how much impact this will make. I don't know, but I do certainly know that it's different from what we have seen so far. People have been coming up and suggesting the direction they feel that this should go. I mean, I did hear I think it was today, I was listening on one of the social media platforms on what they've been doing so far. They've been asking to nominate youth leaders who would moderate the panels that are set up, or sorry, who will sit in the panels that are set up to address specifically the SARS the police brutality perpetrators, to see that these people will be investigated, these people will be prosecuted if they find them to be to be guilty. So again, we can see things moving in the right direction, and we're just hoping that there will be enough momentum to carry it on for us to see change. But yes, we're all tired. We're all tired. I mean, I happen to run a business in Nigeria, so I'm heavily involved in Nigeria. But we've all suffered this. You know, a young man like myself, you can't move around town freely, confidently, without being harassed. Imagine somebody saying, "Look, let me see your phone," and if they see anything to do with foreign transactions, they start to call your phone, and they will tell you straight to your face. What is going to happen? I mean, I happen to grow a beard, and someone was saying to me in Lagos, "You got to be very careful." So, which means I'm starting to think that, you know, when I'm going to Nigeria, I've got to cut my beard off. So that, and that's not right. I'm a hardworking businessman. I work hard for my money, and I should not be I shouldn't go under such restraints just because you know, because of the environment. But again,
no, you won't join.
We've got to be. I keep saying we've got to be realistic. A constable in Nigeria, I don't know if you know this, a constable in Nigeria, which is the lowest ranking officer in the police, earns around 25,000 naira.
Oh my God.
Yeah, officially earns around 25,000 naira. So you got to ask yourself the question. I say this here, and I hope that, you know, we won't get this the wrong way. When I'm in Lagos, I give them money, not necessarily bribe, but I get to think about that. Look, how are these guys going to survive? How are you expecting someone to survive on 25,000 naira? 25,000 naira, that is 50 pounds. So if we want to, I mean, when we go back to Nigeria, you know, we spend 50 pounds maybe on eating out, you know, and you're thinking about that this is somebody's salary for a whole year, a whole month. That salary is what he's going to use to send his children to school. That salary is what he's going to use to for transportation, for feeding, for accommodation. So it's nothing. So these people, I'm not taking sides, but I'm just being a realist. These people are pushed to the wall, and you then arm them, so they will turn against their own. So the problem needs to be addressed, not from the surface, but it needs to be addressed deeper. Because whether you like it or not, people are desperate, and you have now putting arms in their hands. They're turning on the people. So hopefully this will lead us. I'm hoping that you know, something can be achieved. I suspect something will be achieved. We're all hoping that something can be achieved. Yeah. So Patience, I'll pass the ball back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Richard. Thank you so much. Thank you, Auntie Anna. I'd like to take the mic to Bubemi Obioro. Permit me, I had to do Bubemi now because he's at work and he needs to go up in the next 10 minutes. So Bubemi, the mic is on you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Richard, good evening. Right. I want to say this, everything you have said is true, but something else I want to add is, even the police, they are tired of the conditions they live in. Because you see a police that has funding, but yet they have to pay for everything that they put on. They have to pay for servicing or following their operational vehicle. Then give the same people guns. I was watching a video yesterday or day before yesterday about police training school. Okay, where 20 people are given a fish to share for lunch. The 20 people sharing this big fish, not too big anyway. You know, when it gets into the plate, it won't be up to a mouthful. So these are the people you unleash. And you know what the recruitment process is? The recruitment process is bring people from your village. You understand? It's rare. It's only very rare occasion to see educated people getting into Akeda. The people who are getting into the rank and file, more often than not, they don't have an education. Someone is using it to empower them. Let me just give you work in the police. You hear they don't speak English. I know what we face in Port Harcourt sometimes. You're at the checkpoint, they're already drunk. But they are also, they are not only a part of the problem, they are also a fallout of this maladministration from government. So they are only hitting out to only those who they can hit out at. Now there's a protest now that started with End SARS, and a lot of other things have come out. And you see, part of what I love about this process is that these people are doing unimaginable things. They are raising funding from nowhere. People are supporting. I have friends abroad who are sending money home. They recently just set up a radio station through which they are using to get across to people. They may not have, they may not seem to have a leadership structure, but believe me, they do. You cannot organize things across the country like this without some form of structure. They actually have a situation room where stuff is monitored. If your vehicle is vandalized by virtue of the protest, there are people who are willing to say, bring your vehicle to so and so place, it will be fixed for free. They have medical personnel. I heard the MBS coming to, if people are picked up, for them. It's a loose structure, but it's a structure. It is a leadership structure. Yes, a whole lot of stuff is going to come on. You know, before we have been hearing about what senators earn, what House of Rep members earn and all that. But sometimes you need to put it into 1 + 1 = 2. What one person's salary can do for, imagine what one person's salary can do for 70,000, for 7,000 people, or how much it can pay to 7,000 people or 700 people in a month. It's a lot. See how long it took to pass the bill to pay minimum wage of 30,000. See how long it took. So these guys are flourishing in money. See, this is the beginning of a revolution, like people will say, and their mindset is different. They were attacked by thugs in Abuja the first time. The thugs succeeded a little. The second time they repelled the thugs. In Lagos, the same thing happened. They wanted to lynch the guys who did it. Some of them amongst the protesters were protecting these people. They don't want anybody to die. You understand? They are not taking the laws into their hands. They are cleaning the streets. Come on. These guys are using technology to their advantage. And I think it's from there, somehow, these guys know other guys who have shown leadership, who have done some non-voluntary work or NGO work somewhere, that have some leadership skills somewhere. Possibly they may not do it on their own. At a point, they may need to call in some people who have proven themselves over time, you understand, who have not just had the opportunity. They may need to do that. It's going to be a mix. I saw a video today of someone who was 89 years old, with his daughter. You understand? I have people who are saying, we know that we have not been able to do this, but I'm coming to this support with my child to give them support. Fela Durotoye said something very heartwarming. He said, it is not time for our generation to come out to say, yes, this is what you should do. Say, all we need to do is support them. Let them be the ones, because it is their struggle. It is a collective struggle, we agree, but it is their struggle. Let them be the ones to give it form. Let our contribution, apart from our money, be quietly advisory. Quietly advisory. We cannot ignore these people when they are doing what, yes, a lot of people will say, stop riots, and we were there and all that, but this is different. All those times that those riots were taking place, Nigeria was in this bad mahaba. Yes, we know that it's been a disaster waiting to happen. It's not just this administration that has caused what is happening. It is over the years. It's been getting steadily bad. There was a time it was 1 pound to 1 naira. Look, we are finding ourselves at 580 or 90 naira to 1 pound. Abba. But yet, somehow, to get to do what we need to do, we somehow scrounge this money out by hook or by crook, somehow. And I keep saying this. I have people who think that public servants should do more. Yes, I agree. I'm a public servant. Also, but they should also understand that when you bring politicians, political appointees to lord it over career public servants, eventually the system will suffer. You understand? They are not making a PAMSEC minister. We are not giving him control over the parastatal when he's even beyond retirement age, because he knows the system. We are bringing a new body, a non-entity who may not even have ICANN. You are making him executive director in the parastatal of finance. What do you expect? He will want to steal as much money as the godfather will put him there, so that he will be as powerful as his godfather. It's a whole lot of stuff. You understand? It's a whole lot of stuff. But for this protest, I'm 110% behind them. We will keep praying for them that they do not lose focus. If we need to send money, we'll send money. Where we need to lend our voice, we'll lend our voice. I believe eventually, I believe even now as we're speaking, there's some sort of structure that is coming up for representation. Someone wanted to speak to them. So I want to speak to your leader. They say, we don't have a leader. We're all leaders. And I laughed, because that is the truth. For them to achieve this, the lady who was with the 89-year-old man said it was her son that was coordinating the cleanup process. Is that not leadership? That is leadership. That they can put themselves together and clean up the streets that are messed up. A little boy who is selling cheese balls, take it from him. Fighting for me as well. I mean, it takes, everybody knows what the challenge is. Someone posted a picture of a place in Ondo State overtaken by the ocean, a village flooded.
That's Kogi State.
Is it Kogi State?
Yeah,
Not even
Kogi
in Ondo
State,
State.
yeah. Kogi
But
State.
I even saw one in Ondo State.
Are you
Because the guy who was my colleague. And it's terrible. The conditions people live in. And these people have representation in the Senate, in the House of Rep. They have governors. I mean, their heart has been set with his hot iron. Their mind is now in their back. Those people will go to bed. They will sleep well at night and wake up because they don't put their hand for pots. I cannot say it in English. They have put their hands in it so that they do not care about the next person anymore. Even their own domestic staff. Festus Keyamo, because of the protest, his driver was killed by a driver who was driving one way. As someone responded, it is the driver who was driving one way that caused it, not the protest. The second person said, why should your driver at your level be trekking to work? What does it take to buy a car? Less than $1 million, you will buy a car for that driver. Maybe that driver is earning 50,000 a month. Trekking to work. What stops you from saying at this period, or how you guys coping? Okay, let me give you guys temporary accommodation somewhere so that we can work, or you will be safe or something. They only care about themselves. So at the end of the day, like I said, there's a loose, it may not even be a loose structure, but I see leadership in what they are doing, because if there's no leadership, it will be discoordinated. Eventually, these things will come out, but like I say, or like someone has already said, let them avoid the mistake of taking on too much at one time. When they settle one, they move to the next. The government will eventually push back. They will push back that, okay, it is enough. Let them take something as in, not take something as in money, take something as in, okay, let them begin to give timelines for some of these structures to be put in place, for some of these reforms to be done. They cannot rush everything, but at the end of the day, you know, a rushing wind, a mighty ocean, it doesn't have control if you push anything down in its wake. It may turn out that this is one of those. It will push down the government and their irrelevant structures, and a new Nigeria will come up. Whichever way it is, whatever will come out at the end of this will be better than what we had before. Thank you very much, everyone. That's my it.
Thank you so much, Bubemi. I'm passing the mic now to Grace Omozoge. Thank you, Grace, for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Well spoken so far. Okay, well spoken so far. Like I always say, every Nigerian is very, very conversant with the problems of this country. If you go to Channels TV, Arise, AIT, Deliberations Daily, it's all about the problems of Nigeria. Now, let me say something. Each speaker has spoken very well. But I must tell you that in all honesty, if you are called upon today to serve in governance, you will fail. Why? Because the system has been set up to make you fail. It's a systematic thing. It's not an individual thing. I dare say that we have the best brains in government right now. But the system is so bad that they cannot fight against it. let's take, for example, Osibanjo, a professor of law. Osibanjo is a distinguished person from all indications. I remember when Buhari was ill, those days that he was ill, there was a SARS case in Nigeria, and Osibanjo immediately dismissed the assistant AIG of that zone and whatever. It carried a lot of weight. But unfortunately, Buhari came back to Nigeria at the end of that same month, and things went back to normal. What I foresee in this whole struggle is not about projections. It's not about, oh, we are thinking this way or we are thinking that way. The change is going to come from within. I foresee people who have the might and the brains in the system right now. They will begin to come out and say, an end should come to this. I put in my resignation. I put in my resignation. People in government who have it going for them, integrity, but they cannot really stand out because of the system, will opt to pull out. And when they pull out now, we'll begin to see changes and information will begin to come out on how corrupt and how systematic everything has been made to go bad. Can you imagine that NNPC had to bribe National Association of Students not to protest when they when they made the last increase, when they increased the fuel prices of late? How bad can it be? If the NNPC MD is not made to resign, then the minister will resign because it was all planned. So for now, like I always say, this protest is, we all know the problems. It's not as if we don't know the problem. But the thing is that we have to look inwards. And I believe that this thing would throw up a lot of conscience checking. As the people that are leading us, they will begin to say, am I serving correctly? I know what to do, and I sure I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And it calls for my resignation. It calls for my saying, no more will this continue in my ministry. No more will this continue in my parastatal. I have to do well. That's how I see this thing going for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Grace. I'm passing the mic now to Pat Osobase.
Good evening, everyone. You've all spoken very well, very eloquently, addressed all the issues. I'd just like to add some things, that I've observed over, during this period of this protest, which has really impressed me. About culture, religion, diversity. It's all about unity. They're united in one voice, which shows that they have a purpose. And someone talked about structure there. I do believe that they have a structure. We haven't seen it yet. We might not be seeing it, but there is a structure. They have a situation room. They're monitoring things. This is the first time we have seen a well-organized protest. I must say, even all over the world. I can beat my chest to say that. I don't think America or Britain or any other country has had this kind of organized protest where you have youths organizing healthcare system, they're organizing lines you can call for legal help, and all relevant aspects have been taken care of. It actually beats my imagination, and that was why I was so impressed. And if you look at the youth that are also involved in this protest, a lot of them are educated. They're not illiterates on the streets. A lot of them have schooled abroad. A lot of them they've traveled wide. And some of them are most of them are from the middle class, so they understand the issues. I strongly believe that, yes, like we've all said, we should all throw our backs behind these youths. We should encourage them in any way we can encourage them. And it is time for them to now come together and say, like I said, they have a structure, definitely. We don't know where the leadership is going to come from because they say they're all leaders, and I can see that they're all leaders. We know they're all leaders, but something is going to come out of this in 2023. I would want us to use our various platforms, our various virtual medias or whatever we have to support whatever is going to come out of this protest, so that by 2023, we have something that we can joyfully say to us, and beat our chest to say, we did it all together. You know, this is a new Nigeria. Because right now, as I speak to you, I'm so happy. Even my daughter, who is also helping me doing this recording here, she is so excited. She said to me, for the first time, Mommy, I can see something good, because we come to Nigeria every year, and sometimes she asks me some questions and I'm unable to answer because I'm so ashamed, because I don't even have the answers. But now she's beginning to see for herself that there's an answer. You know, Nigerians themselves are beginning to rise up to the occasion to say enough is enough. You know, and it didn't happen in our father's time. It didn't happen in our mother's time. It didn't happen in our time. It happened in the time of our own children. And, you know, that tells us that there's something that is different about this protest. Definitely, I believe and I know that the government is being pressured right now. You know, they are bringing out all sorts of things to say, oh, go back to school, oh, suddenly addressing issues that they never addressed for years. You know, it will not work. These children, they know what they're doing. They cannot be fooled anymore. You know, you keep making plans, you keep setting up panels and committees that never work. You know, we keep recycling the same strategies that never work. It will not work this time. These children want to see the implementation of the policies and the demands that they are making. You know, there has to be a change. There has to be an overhaul. Yes, you know, the last speaker said something about the structure in government will make you fail. I've got cousins, I've got relatives, I've got friends in the place of governance. And I say to them, why can't you resign? To show your integrity, to show your support, resign. If you can't speak up, then resign. There are some, I've read books of, I've read, yes, books and some write-ups, and I've listened to people like Okonjo-Iweala and late Dora Akinyuli, God bless her soul, about how they struggled to survive in Nigerian governance, of the hurdles they had to go through. Their lives were threatened. Lives of their families were threatened because they wanted to do the right thing. You know, people like Wole Soyinka resigned when they wanted to make a mess of him, when they gave him that position of federal road safety. He resigned. He took a back seat. He said, no, I wouldn't do this anymore. I cannot be dragged into this mess. Now, Shibanjo is there, yes. He's a professor. You know, I'm not saying that he's not very educated or enlightened, but why not come out now and just speak the truth? Why not come out and save your integrity? You know, yes, you are in a tight position, but then how tight can it be that you can't come out to speak the truth? How tight can it be that you can't come out to say, I'm no longer in this government. You know, I won't do this anymore. It's not going to work. These are the things that are making us not work. You know, so it's about time that even those leaders that have been there for years or have been recycled, as far as I'm concerned, since I was born, because the same names I keep hearing, you know, they just recycle themselves. It's about time that they themselves look within themselves and begin to wonder, is this the same Nigeria? Or is it a new Nigeria that is about to, you know, to come forth? Because they know that if a new Nigeria comes forth, then that's the end of that era of oppression. That era that we've been looking at and crying and weeping and saying, God, where is this God? You know, yes, now it's time for action. We've prayed, we've done all we can do. It's time for action. We need to support these youths with all we have. That's what I just want to say, because I wanted to go to the rally this evening at Trafalgar Square. When Pat called me, I said, oh, I was going to go to that rally because I'm looking for every avenue to support these youths. You know, I have also had my own experience, though it was not with the SARS. It was because I can relate to what they're saying. Sometime back when I was traveling to the UK from the Lagos airport, you know, international airport, because I was wearing baggy trousers. I mean, first of all, the customs officer there was asking me for money, and I said, I'm not going to give money because I don't give. I'm a very stubborn woman. I said, I'm not giving. You know, why am I giving you money for what? You know, I've done all the right things. And we were arguing, and suddenly this boss of his comes up, you know, a bit tipsy because he had some drinks. I could smell it from his breath. And he says to them, what's going on? And they said, oh, she's not cooperating. And the next thing he said was, take her to go and search her for drugs. And I said, why? He said, because you're wearing baggy trousers. You know, I was really infuriated. I'm like, wearing baggy trousers, how does that relate to drugs? You know, they took me into this room. I was calm. They took me into this room. I saw some other people there. They scanned me through and all that. And they were so furious because they couldn't find anything. And I was very, very, very alert because I knew they could plant drugs on me there. You know, I had to be very careful, you know. And at that point in time, I said to them, I'm going to call my lawyer. And by the time I mentioned my lawyer's name, they were scared. They let me go. I mentioned the name of my lawyer and they let me go. So you can imagine what these youths are going through in Nigeria. What, not even just the youths, what Nigerians, every Nigerian is going through. It is appalling, you know, that you cannot just feel safe in your own country. The people you pay to protect you, they are the ones brutalizing you. It has to stop. And that's my take. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pat. I'm passing the mic now to Emeka Ezekwe. Emeka, you're on.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm actually happy to contribute my quota to you. You guys have all spoken very well. I'll start by saying that this is Nigeria's finest moment, and this is the best time to be a Nigerian. This is also the best time to be a Nigerian youth. You see, a lot of people have been wondering what is wrong with our young people. You know, we have a very large number of young people. Are you all going to keep quiet and allow this to go on? Are you all going to keep quiet and allow old people to stifle your future? But somehow, you know, they have gotten the message. You know, because before now, we're all hoping and waiting that one day some mighty superpower will come one day to redeem our country. But I'm happy that for the first time, the youths are coming together to say enough. The protest is all about reclaiming our country. It's possible that it started with End SARS, but End SARS is just one of the problems. It's the trigger. You know, but that's not there's going to be an overhaul. The threat by the federal government to unleash the military and so on and so forth, as far as I'm concerned, is cowardly. You know, a military that is looking for soft targets, a military that have not been able to defeat Boko Haram for more than 10 years. They're always looking for people to kill. But I can assure all of you that this time is not going to work. It's not going. There's so much frustration everywhere. You know, how many people are you going to kill? And for what? You understand me? There is no country that is being run like Nigeria. I make bold to say there's no country in the world where this kind of rubbish that we are seeing every day is happening. You know, our children are saying that we need to reclaim our country and have a future. For me, you know, I'm going to lend my support to End SARS and impunity and police brutality and whatever is going to take. This is the time to consolidate on this protest and insist on fundamental reforms so that we'll all be proud of this country, even for both of us who are abroad. You know, nobody should be an onlooker. Everybody should participate. And I'm happy that it's going around the whole world. Everybody is saying, yes, this is it. It also brings me to the problem of Africa. You know, the fate of Africa, the black man. You know, we keep talking about Black Lives Matter and so on and so forth. Black life will not matter until Africa is developed, until we have a black homeland, until we have a country in Africa that is well governed. We have the same problem: maladministration, misgovernance, corruption, and all kinds of rubbish. But Nigeria has failed the black race, everybody. So I heard some speakers talking about the poor conditions of the police. Everywhere in the world, the police are not the best paid. They are not paid like oil industry workers. But the truth of the matter is that you must have a reason for wanting to be in the police. You're going into the police for crime protection and detection. You're going into the police to serve. You cannot tell me that because of the system you met, that's why you have decided to start living the way you're living. You have started to behave the way you're behaving. They say conscience is who you are when nobody is there. I do not believe that the system is the one that is corrupting the police people, because they have been doing a lot of rubbish. I have a lot of teenagers in my house, you know, and it touches me every time that, you know, anytime they go out, you'll be wondering, will they ever come back safe? Somebody will come and tell you because they are carrying a particular hairstyle, they are suspicious of them, or your son will go out and he will not come back and he will be killed. You know, they kill people anyhow. I'm not even sure there's any country that they kill people during peacetime as in Nigeria. You know, there's a lot of impunity going on, and we're saying it should continue. It should not. The people that are giving excuses for the police for their behavior are missing the point. For me, if I were asked to bring a suggestion about how to reform the police, we will start by, it is not a must that the IG of police must be a career policeman. We can start from there by appointing an administrator. a security expert to reform the organization and run it the way it should be. It can even be a woman. It doesn't have to be a man. You know, so all these talk that people are saying that because of the poor condition of service and so on and so forth, you go to police, do their training, do everything. You can resign or retire and become a private detective and use your experience to make money. You don't go to police to start making money while you're there and start harassing people and shooting people. When they don't give you money, you kill them. You know, part of the reason why this thing has gone on for too long is that there is no accountability. All they need to do is to plant some rusty, rickety guns on you and say that you are an armed robber. And everybody will say, oh, he's an armed robber. Nobody investigates. They kill people because of 15 naira and tell you, oh, that guy, they were caught in exchange of gunfire with the police and so on and so forth. So that is one. Then secondly, for people who are also making excuses for police, saying that the police need to be well funded and so on. For those of us who are living in UK and in America, the police are making money. The Nigerian police are making money, but they're not receiving the money. Oil companies hire police people for escort duties. Where does the money go to? It goes to the DPO, it goes to the IG, it goes to all kinds of people. If you want to augment the money you make and for funding, you can start receiving those money. If you go for official legal security duty, the money should be paid into the police coffer and use it to augment whatever funding you're getting from government. But that is not the excuse the government from their own failures and so on. But what I'm saying is that it is also not enough excuse for us to be living in Nigeria the way we are living. Before now, if you have a security issue, what do? You hire security. If you don't have water, what do? You dig a borehole. If you don't have light, what do? You go and buy a generator. Government owes you nothing. And because we don't demand. For the first time in our history, the youths are making a demand. I'm no longer a youth, but I support what they are doing. And this is the best time to actually be a youth in Nigeria, to be a young person, to take back your country. And for people like us who keep traveling most of the time, people keep wondering, why is everybody in Nigeria keeping quiet? Why are we accepting the way we are being treated? So this protest is going to have far-reaching effects, both on the government. We are yet to see the main effect. It's coming. Between now and December, a lot of things are going to happen because the whole world is watching, waiting for the so-called military to roll out the arms. They're waiting to see how you kill people. People that have been non-violent, people that have not destroyed anything, people that have not looted any shop. You know, the main defining point of this protest is that it is non-violent, but it is the most impactful, showing that every fight, every war don't have to be with weapons. Nigeria has lost their virginity. That is the truth of the matter. This protest has opened our eyes to a lot of things. The government is forgetting. They're making all kinds of concessions and so on and so forth. But it will not solve the problem because everybody in London, in UK, in Germany, everybody is rioting and making this demand. We're not confrontational. They're not going to fight anybody. They're not killing anybody. But we are using technology, you know, to tell the whole world that this is what is going on. And what I foresee in future is that very soon there will be a fact-finding missions to Nigeria. Maybe the European Union, maybe United Nations, they will start asking questions. What is going on in Nigeria? And why have this been going on? And why did we allow this to continue happening? One of the speakers mentioned Professor Yomi Osibanjo. Yes, so far, he has handled his position well at the commencement of this protest. You know, he has spoken presidentially. He has tried to look at the issues and you know, but he is in a system that is structured somehow that some people are saying, why don't you go and kill them? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? He has behaved like a vice president, you know, but that is not the issue. The issue is that we need a lot of reforms. We need a system that can run on its own. We need where competence, you know, will be the end thing. Look at what is happening. Go to Canada. Who are the best bankers in Canada? Nigerians. Go to London. Who are the best doing well? Nigerians. Everybody is escaping. Everybody is looking for where to go to. This is an opportunity for us to take back our country. And all we can do is to continue to support this protest in the best way that we can. We have gotten a very potent weapon. We're not killing anybody. They're not fighting anybody. They're not looting shops, or like we will see elsewhere. You know, we are just saying that our voice must be heard. The whole world should focus on Nigeria. And I'm happy that all the international media are keying in, all the international celebrities, TDJs, and so on. Everybody is saying, it's time to start asking questions about government must be accountable to the people. If they say they want to kill all the youth, now let them kill the youth and us their fathers. We are ready. How many people will they kill? It is either if some part of the country are saying they are not part of what is going on, no problem. That is why we have to restructure. If you say SARS is okay for your part of the country, let them go there and work. But the truth is that there is a human aspect of security. The human element of security is that you have to provide an enabling environment for people with ingenuity to thrive, for people that are talented to thrive. If people are working, if the economy is doing very, very well, the crime will go down. People themselves are security. So why would somebody be telling me that they are criminals? There are no jobs in Nigeria. The first thing that government have to do is to refloat the economy, to make the economy buoyant so that people can get a job. Even the so-called people that are going to Canada and going to UK to go to school, when you go and come back, there will be no job. And there's somebody who didn't even go to school will get a job because of where he's from. And people are saying that he should continue. He should not continue. I'm happy that more and more people are lending their voice to this protest. And if it continues like this, I'm very, very sure that we're going to make the needed impact. And it will continue. It's been very, very non-violent, but the impact has been huge. And I think technology has been on our side, and it will continue like that until the right things are done. My prediction is that between now and early next year, there have to be some fundamental changes in Nigeria. Things are about to start unraveling. The greatest mistake the government will do is to bring in the military to start killing people. We will not take it again. It will not happen. And this is where I'm going to stop for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emeka, for this. Before I pass the mic to Oshoke, I'd like to say this. I am so proud with the protest because for the first time, we are all unified. You can see it's not an ethnic battle. It's not a religious battle. For once in our lives, we are all having one voice. And I think with that, we have power over the government, and they will surely listen. This is going to be a huge impact on them. And that is why I said to everyone who joined in today, let's talk about it. Some of us are just at home watching what's going on, and we can't go out there to speak out. So this is a forum where we need to speak out, because this recording is going to go to far places, to government. So I want government to hear us speak, to hear the youth who wish to make an impact in our society speak. You know, we can't continue to sit down, criticize government, we want change, and we do not help in that change. So for the first time in Nigeria, change has come. This is truly an independent day for us, or an independent period for us. So with this, I'd like to pass the mic to Oshoke Ilobe. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Pat, thank you for this opportunity. We're really living in interesting times because what we're seeing is something that has never happened before. Now, I'd like to say something. I live in Nigeria, Port Harcourt, and some time ago last year, precisely on the 5th of December, something happened, something very appalling. A group of mechanics were driving their client's car, and they were driving against traffic. And because they were driving against traffic, a band of policemen observed them and arrested them, took them in, searched them, and began to question them. And they said probably they were robbers and they stole the car. So they put them behind bars. Now, somehow, one of the mechanics got to the owner, and the owner of the vehicle came to the police station here in Port Harcourt. And when he saw how they had brutalized the mechanics, he was sober. But you see, the story I want to say is that he said that this is my car. This is my mechanic. I gave him this car to fix for me. I know him. He's been working for me for years. So that he stole my car is not true. So you would think that with that statement, they will say, okay, give him his car, no case. No. They gave the guy back his vehicle and they kept the mechanics in custody. By the time they were through with brutalizing those guys, one of the mechanics had lost his life. He died. Now, somehow, the word got out to the mechanic village here in Port Harcourt, and they trooped down to the police station. This is not SARS now. This is the regular police station. They call it ECRAC squad, under the police commissioner here. And they discovered their fellow mechanics have been brutalized and imprisoned. That is how the story went out. And I thank the media that took it upon themselves to make this public. You know that even as it went public, the police refused to release these guys. The owner of the vehicle came on air, narrated the story that these guys are not criminals. It's my car, and they've given me my car. So you release these guys. They didn't release them. So the next thing was the head mechanic. His name was Chima. I said, where is Chima? They could not produce this guy. For weeks, the media was abuzz with this. Where is Chima? Where is he? Till the later said that he died. Died of what? High blood sugar. This case went on and on every day. The police tried to cover it, but the more the police tried to cover it, the more people kept asking questions on radio, on TV, lawyers, everybody. Till finally they admitted that this guy died. He didn't die of blood sugar. He was a victim of extrajudicial killing. That is not even the full story. By the time his corpse was released, after weeks, they could barely recognize him. You know how this guy died? They hung him by the cuff and by his heels to a bar, forcing him to confess to a crime he didn't commit. And while that torture was going on, a female police officer was fondling his genitals. Can you imagine that? Right here in Port Harcourt. And he finally gave up the ghost. He died. The police commissioner here did all he could to suppress this story, wasting that. They said, bring the autopsy, let's see how this guy died. He kept delaying, saying one thing after the other, but the press refused to back down. Kind of threats. They said we must get to the bottom of this story. You know what the police did? Finally, they redeployed the police commissioner. And today, I think those policemen and the woman, they're in custody, but people are still crying for justice for that guy and the other guy. When they release them, you need to see their pictures. Some of their hands are already getting rotten. So that is how bad this police can be. Now, my point is this. People have said quite a lot. The point I want to start with is how we grew up. You know, we grew up in a culture of silence. If you shout, your parents will say, why are you making noise? This country is bad today, but can you remember, I don't know how old you are, but myself and Pat were classmates, so I know you guys may be a little bit older or younger, I don't know, we're in our 40s. If you talk to our parents, they will tell you that there was a time in Nigeria where 5 naira could buy you a full tray of food in universities. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
They will tell you that 10 naira can. You remember when we were young, goody, all those sweets, all those things we used to buy with 10 kobo, 5 kobo, and all those things. That was what Nigeria bequeathed to our parents. Now, what have they bequeathed to us? In the 80s, you remember how those guys used to steal Nigeria blind? The National Assembly of that time, all those, sorry to call names, some names of those politicians then, how they stole Nigeria blind, stole millions, went to UK and all that. That is where the thing started from. And probably because of the case of people like Delegiwa that was bombed. You see that there is that culture of silence. If a child wants to go out now, the average parent will say, where are you going to? Why are you going out? That is how it's been. Even in church, the pastor rapes a lady, we don't talk. You take your child to school, comes back beaten, we don't say anything. But guess what? Things have changed. And I noticed it during the COVID period, that things are changed. There is a cultural shift. And what is ailing it is technology. The youth of now, they think differently and they are exposed to technology in a way that we were it. We are the analog generation. We take anything, we swallow it, and we just complain, and we go. We talk and talk and talk on social media, and that's the end. Everybody to your tent is there. But this generation, these young guys, they are not like that. They've been so exposed to technology that they can do stuff. Your child now, if you have a teenager, I bet you, they can check your phone and they can tell you so many things on your phone that you never knew because they are technologically exposed. And that is what is playing out today. The last killing that was done by, I'm in Port Harcourt, just close by where I live. A young man came out of his house just because he was dressed as, a young guy, dressed probably nice shoes and all that. They requested to see his phone and he said, no, you will not see my phone. He's a musician. And because he didn't stop for the SARS, he started running, they shouted, thief, thief, thief. And a mopo that was attached to a supermarket just got up and shot the guy. This is not in another town. This is where I live. I saw it. He died. He died in cold blood. And the dad said, I lived in the north for years. not one scratch. But I'm coming to my own hometown in Port Harcourt, and this is happening. That would have gone like every other story. Nothing would have happened. We just complain, and everybody will go back to normal. But it's so happening that the youth of this, and they've taken it upon themselves that this is one death too many. And they're out on the streets now, they are campaigning. So I give them total support. And I see something happening. You know, SARS is just the beginning, like somebody said. There is a lot we need to talk about in this country. We have taken it, you know, Nigerians are naturally managers. You don't get what you want, let me manage what I have. That is why people die in all these shanty houses that collapse. Probably they'll be living there, one crack or the other. Where will I go to? Let me manage it. The place is about to fall, let me manage. Till the thing falls on their head and many people die. That's how we grew up. We manage. You go to a shop, give me a goosey soup. I don't have, okay, what do you have? I have this one. Okay, let me manage it. So we manage. Because it doesn't happen to you. I was a victim of robbery on the 30th of September, Patnos, in my house in Port Harcourt. Some young guys robbed me at gunpoint and stole my phones and all that. Here was the police. Not far away from my house, you see a police station. So that is how we have lived, and that has been our normal for years, for decades. For these people, they are turning the table, they are shaking the table, and things are changing. Now it's going to change it's going to move from here. It's not just SARS. It's going to reach the political class, and that is where it's going to hit home. A lot has been going on in this country, and we have been swallowing it for too long. The nepotism is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. I'm not just blaming this administration. It's been happening. The corruption is something else. Look at the take-home pay of a regular senator or House of Reps member. We don't talk. Why? Because he's probably your cousin or your church member or your schoolmate. When it's Adamu who will shout, but when it's Nosa, your classmate, you keep quiet because probably you may gain one thing or the other. That's how we've been living, and that's the truth. We've been swallowing it. I asked myself the question the other day. When we were talking about NDDC probe and they're talking about billions that were stolen, I said, look, let me tell you, this is not about North and South or religion or Hausa. Those guys, they are from our society. They are classmates. They are our deacons and deaconesses in church. They are our ministers in church. That's true. They are our friends. They are our neighbors. But we don't talk because they can give you a contract, one or two. But now the youth, they are setting a new standard. Now that everything has to be done properly. For Christ's sake, some of you go overseas. You see the streets. You see the service. You see the airport. You see how things are. And these guys go there. Why can't they come and replicate the same thing? And again, there's something that somebody said during the protest. He said, you guys in government, you live off our money. We pay your bills. We pay your medical bills. You just can't get up and jet to UK and go and do eye check, nose check, hand check for just a small scratch. It's our money. So we need to take those things back. But SARS is just the beginning. SARS is just the beginning, because if you look at it again, like our brother said, that there's no excuse for policemen because they don't take care of them. It's an issue. I grew up in Benin. I used to play football at the police station at Adesua. That place was known for harboring criminals, because the child of a policeman would do anything and get away with it. He will do anything and they will run into the barracks, and you can't touch Jack because his father is a police, a constable, or so. If you try it, they will lock you up. You know, but you look at the barracks, it's appalling. It's appalling. I know policemen, they beg you for money. They beg, I give them. Because you see a policeman on the road, you say, if it's just pure water, give me 5 naira. 5 naira. So you imagine this guy has been standing on the road for 8 hours under the sun. His uniform is faded, dirty, he's wearing slippers, he's hungry. You give him money. You pity for him. You don't have to ask you. And I tell them, I said, if not that you guys are on the road, some of us will not be able to sleep, but because your presence alone, you know, helps to give us some form of security. But on the other hand, some of them are so bad that they are the ones that connive with these criminals to do stuff. So I'm in total support of what's going on, and I'm waiting to see where this is going to, because I know it's beyond SARS. When it gets to the political class, some of us will really, really come out and will take action. So thank you once again, Antipas, for this opportunity. I wish them well. I pray for them, because by God's grace, I'm a pastor, and I pastor youth, and I was talking to them this morning, and I told them that, look, this is our time. We need to say it as it is. We need to show our strength. We need to use everything at our disposal, technology, our voice, everything. And you're going to see something. I mean, you're going to see youth in action. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, everybody. All right.
Thank you so much, Oshoke, for this. Thank you. I'm passing the mic quickly now to OZ. OZ, are you still with us? I'm passing the mic to you. You are the last one to say something.
Oh, yes. Hi, Pat. Thank you for inviting me. I'm quite with you guys. I've been listening, but the network is quite poor from here. We're actually in the dark. I've got a few of my friends here as well. My name is OZ. I'm actually speaking from London. And I've heard everyone spoken, and I think they've made good points. But my take is, we're calling from the diaspora. What actually can we contribute to keep this going? Because everyone has spoken about the problems. Let's start thinking about the solutions. I've got Frank. Do you want to contribute?
Hi, everyone. My name is Mr. Frank Ideyan. What I would like to say is we have a lot of people out there on the streets, and it's going to get to a point where people are just going to get tired and go home, and it's going to be back to whatever, you know. So while everything is going on right now, I think this is a great opportunity for us to take it the full way. And the only way to do something like that is, you know, all those people scattered around Lagos, Benin, wherever, everybody needs to go to a central point, like maybe go to Aso Rock itself and just block the whole place. If the president's in there, he doesn't go out. If he's outside, he's not going inside, yeah? Everybody goes out there, they block the whole place up. You know, everybody has to contribute. There'll be people who'll be there. Obviously, everyone has to play their part. You know, the ones who can contribute, we contribute money. Those are people who cannot be there physically. The ones who can be there physically, we need to support those guys, you know, and we just need to hold our ground and, you know, just stand outside that building. Everybody has to move. You know, there's no point being in Lagos, Benin, all those places. You know, everyone just, there's strength in numbers. So everyone goes to that point, you know, and what are they going to do, man? Are they going to start shooting everybody? I mean, these days we have phones. We can put on our phones live on Facebook and everything. So they're not going to open fire on innocent people. I mean, everyone just lies on the floor. We lie on the floor if you have to. Are they going to start shooting people lying on the floor? Well, basically, you just go there and hold your ground. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And that's the only way that we can come out with any kind of demands. Otherwise, we're just wasting time. It's going to get to a point where people are just going to get tired and people are just going to go home and it's just going to be a waste. So that's it really, guys, from me.
Thank you so much, Frank and OZ. Thank you. Auntie Anna, back to you. So what are your expectations? We've heard everybody speak. So what are your expectations from everything we've talked about and from the from what is going on right now?
Okay. Oh, my expectations. Clearly, everyone's. I believe my expectation is in line with everyone's else's. Is to see, you know, move for change. We want change. But you see, the thing about change is it has to start from somewhere. And I think the eradication of SARS and the reform of the police is a good start. And then we need to take it in segments. We can't expect, the government is so polluted to the point that we can't fix everything in one day, at one shot. We need to be able to collate our requirements, put them together, and have them delivered in segments, in batches. The government can't just wake up, you know, it's so poor. The decadence in governance is not just from this government. It's as far as I can remember, I'm looking back back to the days of MPN. And is it MPN and what was that lowest party called then? UPN and MPN, you know, even Shagari, all that far as I can remember, right from the days of 1004, sorry, in Abuja, in Lagos, when they had all the senators. So it's not just something that we would expect to change instantly, but the only way we can initiate change is by coming together and becoming one voice. One voice. If we can all stand together, support the youth in any way we can, if it's financially, if it's morally, you know, just make sure that they're out there in the multitude and make sure that they're also protected. It says one thing for us to encourage the youth to go out there. You never know, with the kind of government leadership that we have, you don't know what to expect, especially a leader who has a military background. We all know his history. He can turn around. That man doesn't care. I've got videos. I'm going to look for that video. Someone sent me a video a while back when I actually heard Buhari laughing at them, laughing at Nigerians and saying, oh, it was a conversation between Rotimi and Amechi. Funny enough, it's a private conversation because I have somebody who, the APC female leader is my cousin. So they were all in a meeting and they were talking. And someone was recording secretly. And he was like, Amechi was saying, everybody is saying that Nigeria has a problem and Buhari is the problem. Buhari is like, let them continue saying that I am the problem. I'm here enjoying myself with my family. And that's the reality, that's the mindset. They don't care because they have no interaction with the people out there. So they don't really care. Theirs is just to make sure that they make money, and then when they're involved with the international world, we are shown they show the international world a different thing. But personally, what I want out of this entire protest is for us to start seeing change. And when we see it, I want it visible. Do you understand? I want to see it. I want to see them disband SARS, which they claim they have done, and I don't want to see the creation of SWAT or what nonsense they say. We still have to have security though. As much as we want to get rid of SARS, you have to take into recognition that there are also certain types of youths who will go out there and do the unthinkable and still come after the normal citizens like you and I. So we've got to be very conscious of what we are asking for. We're asking to eradicate SARS, yes, fine, because of the fact that they are humiliating and terrorizing our youths. But at the same time, we need to also realize that we have security in place. So they need training. There should be reforms in the police where adequate training is done. You have to have a certain level of education for you to get into the police. So that police force, you have to have decent, accommodation for them. They've got to increase their salaries, make them comfortable. And all this element of, oh, we have to make money because Oga has placed us on the target so that we have to give back, the DPOs, that's what they do. They push out these constables, they push out inspectors out onto the streets, and they give them daily targets to return to them. So every time they make money on the street, don't think that the 5 naira and the 50 naira they collect from you or the 100 naira they collect from the individuals on the streets is just for themselves. No, they make returns, daily returns, back to their offices, back to their direct reports. So their bosses. So these things need to be changed. I think we should adapt the foreign ways of weighing cameras. Surveillance of some sort should come into play if they're in the reform of the police, so that when the police does stop someone, it's on record. There's so many things that can be done. But, they said, like they say, if you want to get somewhere, it starts with a step. I think we should do it in batches rather than, yes, by all means, let us go out there, tell them these are the kind of reforms we want, but we need to prioritize the reforms that we are fighting for. Because if you ask them for everything, they can't give it to us in one day. Rome was not built in a day. But we can state our case and let us start seeing what they do before we take a backbench and take the war back, from the war front. But right now, in my mind, if I could actually go and join the youths and sleep on the streets, I would do it. I would do it. I definitely would do it if I could. It's just that my children are like, no, mom, stay at home. It's too cold. You've got a knee injury. If not, I'll be in Trafalgar Square as we speak because it's just around the corner from where I live. But you know, the children are not having it. They've all gone. I'm here enjoying myself with you guys, which is good. And thank you very much, Pat. For it was short notice though because she you know, she dealt me a blow. She rang me like some 2-3 hours ago, sent me a message and said, please, can you join? You know, and I had to. If not, I would have gone out with the kids this evening and just to see how things are out there and just to make sure that they are safe. Yeah, but like I said, what I want to see is that change. It will take time for us to get the level of change that we all want to see. But I think the reform within the police will make a difference. Will make a difference and, you know, create job opportunities for our youths as well. But another thing I'd like to address, and I'm sorry to say this, I know we live in the new, they call it the jet age and, you know, pop culture and exposure. But I'll tell you one thing, appearance sometimes give wrong impression, even here. I recently did recruitment because I'm a head of a department here. I work in telco, and I recently recruited some people because I had to expand my team. And I'm sorry to say this, if you come into a professional working environment, whether like a proper office, you would rarely find anyone wearing dreadlocks. I want to address this, and I don't know if people, I don't have anything against you wearing your natural looks, you know, your natural hair or but come on, dreadlock is attached to Rastafarianism, and Rastafarianism is always classed as, how would I say?
Radicalism.
Very radical outlook to life, and is always associated to drugs, smoking of hemp and things. And all of a sudden, our generation are kind of adapting that lifestyle, which is a bit scary. They're moving away from the proper modern kind of clean look and gravitating towards that. And I think this is a time for us to also raise our voice and talk to our youths we're not saying eradicate it completely, but keep it to a certain level of moderation. Come on, it's ridiculous. I see our children on the streets of Nigeria wearing sagging pants, for God's sakes. I know how many times I've had to tell someone, you know, on the streets in Nigeria, come on, can you put your tie? I don't want to look your dirty boxer shorts. Do you understand? I would be livid as a parent if my child was to wear sagging pants. Where does sagging pants originate from? If we want to emulate things, why don't the youths emulate the right things? Why do they emulate foreign things which are associated to things that are negative? Do you understand where I'm coming from? So in as much as we want to address government and push for change, we should also enlighten our youths that some of the ways that they coordinate themselves also put them in that sphere of being treated as, you know, the victims, you know, the way that they treat them. The first impression when a policeman sees that these policemen have never traveled like you and I, they've never been exposed, they do not know the difference between a radical person wearing dreads and somebody who, do you understand where I'm coming from? They don't have that level of exposure. All they've, the mindset that they have is that these people we're looking at, they're associated to this, you know, it's very stereotypical way of looking at people. So I think we need to start enlightening our youths that even if they have to do it, they do it in moderation and they do it in a decent way. There's a way you can do your dreads and pack it up and make it look decent. And there's a way you wear your dreads and you look like a tout, for heaven's sakes. And sagging pants, I just can't condole that. Come on. Sagging pants, tattered jeans, you know, the manhood is almost out there in the open. Is that decency? It's not. So I think as much as we want to drive this level of change, you know, from a governance perspective, we should also educate and entertain our children. It's very important for parents to talk to the children and get them to start doing things in the right way as well. So that's my overview. of it. And that's what my expectations will be. It's not just the reform at government level or from a SARS point of view, it's also reform from inside our homes, because they say charity begins at home. It does. It's what you as a parent give to your child, they say your child is a reflection of who you are. And that's the way I see it. When I come home and I see my nephew dressed in certain ways, I say to him, I will wound you if you come meet me like this. Do you understand? He'll say, Mommy, we know. And then he'll cut his hair and he will make himself look a little bit decent. And that's what I expect every parent or anyone in the position of leadership in terms of raising a child or influencing a child to put out there. Don't just let things slide, because if we want to fight for the youth, we want to fight for them in a way that is right, and we know that is just. But it's the one thing. Have you seen some of these youths really when they behave out there? It's unbelievable. I've seen it, and I'm very, very disappointed at some of them. And I know that some of these youths actually come from very good homes. Some of them have very well-to-do parents who are comfortable, parents who are middle class, upper middle class. But you see them on the streets and they look like touts, So we need to also clean up our cobwebs. In as much as we want the change that we all drive, coming together as one voice to fight for, we need to also educate our children. It's very important. So that's my stance on it, really, Pat. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, Auntie Anna. Richard, back to you. Do you think if this incident going on now, if there is a change, do you see yourself coming back to Nigeria?
That's a good question. I think I'll have to direct some parts of the question to my wife and see how much allows me to. But no, I do. I've been living permanently in the UK for the last 20 years. The last sort of 6-7 of it, I set up business in Nigeria. So I have, as a result of my business, I have to go back to Nigeria quite regularly and quite often. Now, I definitely will clamor for a better business environment. From a business point of view, it's not easy to do business in Nigeria with all the movements that it has. So absolutely, if the environment is better, I also run a business here in the UK. I've been doing that for the last 17 years. Compare both business environments together and compare both business environments. Absolutely, I'm a lot much comfortable doing business here because of stability. Compare that to Nigeria, where your running costs is significant because you have to, as someone alluded to earlier on, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for your water, you have to pay for your electricity. Not pay for, you have to generate your own electricity and all of that, your security and all of that. So it's costly to do business in Nigeria at the moment. So hopefully things get better. Yes, absolutely. Nigeria is we can build Nigeria. We're tired of the brain drain. We're tired of the brain drain. Everybody's coming out from Nigeria, going to develop other countries, and leaving us to suffer back in Nigeria. So it's us here sitting around this panel, those of us who are based in the diaspora, that will go back and build the country. And absolutely, obviously we want to make sure that we have a good environment to build on. So yes, we're positive that this new drive, the momentum will carry on. We have to be very strategic now in terms of lending our voices. We all have to come together and make sure we support these guys to achieve. I hear once you hit day 30, United Nations will sort of get some sort of involvement. I know we're around day 10 now. So how do we make sure that the momentum is built and we can carry on for another 20 days for this to be sustained? So I think those sort of conversations we have to start to have. How do we make sure that the momentum is we're getting information that there's some sort of foreign interference. We don't know the truth. We don't know yet, but sort of what we're seeing at the moment, how it's the coordination and how it's organized. There's talk.
We've lost him there.
Okay, I guess he'll be back in a minute. While we are waiting, Richard, are you back?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Froze for a minute.
Okay, all right. So in answering your question directly, if the environment is good, absolutely, I want to shift a lot more of my operations from here back to Nigeria, because where else would be best for me to develop is my motherland. So absolutely, I would want to do that if things get better. I would use the word when rather than if, because it's looking likely that things are going to change in my time.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Richard. Just like Frank said, we hope the youths don't get tired and nothing is achieved after this whole lovely unifying force. Because if after this and they get tired and everybody goes home, I know everybody now is comfortable because everybody's being fed on the streets and things are comfortable. What if when those donors pull away and there's nothing to keep them going on the streets, what happens next? So we need to encourage these youth who have been bold enough to come out. Now, Auntie Anna, I heard you when you talked about talking to the children, reorientating them. Now, I'm an etiquette consultant. It's a battle trying to reach out to teenagers to talk to them about courtesy and decency. But I've started the campaign. I'm not stopping. I'm not going to be discouraged. I'm still going to go on. Okay. The system, wherever I teach, most of the schools, they love the children welcome etiquette. But somehow the society, they go back home and what they have been brought up to be used to is like killing all the interest they have to want to change. But let's see how this campaign is going to help these children we are teaching, because really their manners will take them further than their education will. So if they have the right manners, the right courtesy, the right mindset, they'll go further in life. Now, we're not bringing them up to run away from Nigeria. We're bringing them up to stay back home and learn from us. That is why I'm asking Richard, would you come back? Because if everybody sees you, all of you going out, that's the thing that everyone wants to do. I want to run away. Everybody wants to run away. Then who stays to help Nigeria? So I'll pass the mic to Pat. Pat, what do you think? Pat Osobase,
Yeah,
are you still with us?
Yeah, I am. Yes. Following on to what the other speakers have just said. What I would say, Anna, you raised a very good point. You know, I attended a Zoom meeting of recent with some people when we're talking about culture. You know, bringing back the African culture. And it was a very good one because Ben Bruce gave a talk. Some top officials gave a talk. And I was quite impressed that they all had these views, you know. And then I reached out to one of the commissioners in Lagos and I said to her, how do we start instilling this in our youths, you know, in our offices, in our places of work, in our schools? That's where we need to start from, the grassroots, the basics, you know. Why don't we wear our own clothes to work, you know, our own African clothes to work? Why must we wear suits in a hot environment? You understand? So there are certain things we need to really start addressing. And this probably would be embedded in the curriculum. Maybe that will help us, you know, to start from even the early years, you know, in education. So I think that's a very good point we'll look at. And that, of course, definitely, your outlook might not be your person, but it does give an indication of who you are. So we need to address that. That's a very good point you raised. And I'd like to also say this, that what I expect is that we go from the grassroots to educate people about what this fight is about. You know, a lot of people in the villages, they don't understand what's going on. You know, they don't understand what this protest is all about. There are some people that don't speak English, they don't even understand what it's all about. We now need to send these youth or advise them also to go to the grassroots, because when you win the grassroots, you know, that's where the power starts from. They need to go to the grassroots, the villages, the nooks and corners of Nigeria. Speak the Hausa language, the Yoruba language, the Nupe language, whatever language, speak to them, tell them what this protest is all about, you know, so that they would understand and they will stand with the youths. Because that's the next level I'm thinking of, you know. I'm saying, yes, we have addressed the elites, we've addressed those who understand English and all that. Yes, but what about those people, the grassroots people? Even the area boys. You know, I was listening to Sheung Kuti of recent, you know, all of his clips, and I was really impressed where he was, although the only bit I wasn't so impressed about was, you know, beating up the policeman, but then he made sense, you know, he did make sense. We need to go to the grassroots. We need to go and get all these people. We need to speak to them. We need to talk to them. It's not about sending the youth back to school, to say, go back to school now and all that. No, that's not what we need. We need to send them to the grassroots and then grow this protest from there, you know, and then the change will come. Because then when we carry everybody along, they will understand what this protest is about. And like someone has rightly said, if we can keep up this momentum, maybe for the next 30 days, you know, with everyone's support, like I said, if I had the opportunity to be on the streets, I would join them, because it's now, I mean, now I feel the youth in me has come back. You know, it died before, but now it's come back with this, with what I'm seeing. We need to keep the momentum up. We need to be at Aso Rock. We need to be in Abuja. We need to be in places where they will feel the impact. We need these youth to be there, you know, and like we have all agreed, we take it one by one. First of all, it's SARS, and then we address the next issue, and then we address the next issue. We can't address all at the same time. But what I want the government to do is start implementing. There's no need talking and talking. You know, there's no need saying they should go home. You want to have time to deliberate on what they've said and implement. It will not happen because they don't trust the government. So what I want to see is immediate implementation of the first thing. You've disbanded SARS, yes, we need security, but what are you doing to, you know, to restructure the new, whatever you're going to set up? What are you doing? People, we need to see, it has to be transparent. We have to see that. And then we don't want committees set up. All these committees and all these panels and all that never work. They never work. Get these youths, if you can, get some of them to come to you and say, let's work together. How do you guys think we can move this country forward? What do you think we can do? You know, let them be part of the system. That would help. I don't know, they don't have leaders right now, but I'm sure if the government had strategies and if they had good planning strategies, like they claim that they always have, they can approach these youths in a more structured and decent way to get them to work with them cooperatively in a way that they would actually reach an agreement as to working together to bringing some of these things into implementation now, while they are still there on the streets. And when we start to see the implementation of these demands, then you'll find that the youth will then have some faith in them, you know, because they're not going to back out, they're not going to back down. Neither are we going to back down, because we need to start seeing the implementation. There's no point. I mean, somebody was saying, oh yes, they made their point. Oh, you guys have made your point. Go back and give the government time. Our government is not that type of government. Nigerian government doesn't work like that. We have seen it over the years. It never worked. We need to see the implementation now. And it has to start from the grassroots. Thank you. That's my own take.
Okay, thank you so much, Pat. Grace, what do you have to say? What are your expectations, and what do you think will play out at the end of this whole protest?
Okay, first of all, let me answer your question. You talked about keeping the momentum high, that if the food runs out, what will happen to the youths? First things first, the food did not bring the youths out there. So let's be sure on that even half of the Nigerian youths are still not out on the streets. A lot of them that have started the first batch are going to go back and re-strategize. Newer ones are going to come up on the streets. If you count the figures, When we started this protest, the numbers were not like this. But with the right education, right information, the numbers kept increasing daily. And it's still going to keep increasing. If you're tired, you take a break and more people will come into play. That's answering that question. Secondly, I think OZ is there, and I know OZ is from Edo State. A lot of things, I can say that the protest in Lagos is very, very well managed because I live in Lagos and I live in Lekki and I'm very close to the toll gate area, so I know what happens around that location. But I see what's happening in Benin. They're cooking with firewood and all that stuff. They're not buying food in parks. They're not distributing food to the protesters and all whatnot. So I would plead that Lagos is concentrated for now. We should reach out to our states and try to send monies through people. Just pay your brother, give your brother money, tell them to go to Mr. Biggs or wherever, or get a caterer, cook food in packed bowls and take to the protest ground to share for these people. That's your own contribution. And we as a group today that have talked about this whole issue, we have our own role to play. My Instagram handle is basically a SARS hand, end police brutality, end SARS, wherever, right now. We have to put the information out. Any information you believe is useful, put it on your page, on your WhatsApp status, on your Instagram page. A lot of people that do not have good knowledge of what is going on, they are getting informed daily by your posts. I don't put posts randomly. I put very constructive and well-informed posts on my page, not just rumors or hearsay. We put that up so that people get informed. Because before now, when I started initially, even my sister called me and said, "Are you okay? Why are you joining SARS? Why are you saying you don't want SARS? You want kidnapping to continue in Nigeria?" And I'm like, my dear, get educated. When you're educated and informed, you come back to me. And today, she's out there on the street protesting too, that an end must come to SARS brutality. Thirdly, Auntie Helen, if I must say, I don't know her name, I can't remember her name, sorry. She's talking about the dressing culture of the youth, sagging, tattoos, dreadlocks, whatever. But for starters, I must say that that's just a minimal percentage of the youths that do this. Why? Because the creatives are the ones making the money in Nigeria. The creatives are the ones putting Nigeria in the world map today. Who are the creatives? The musicians, the footballers. And how do they dress? This is how they dress. So the youths are impressionable. They want to look like success. And a footballer that has dreadlocks is success. Is any pounds, millions of pounds. A musician that has dreadlocks and tattoos all over his body is successful. He's earning a lot in dollars and naira. So every youth that craves to be a creative believes that if I dress this way, this is my line of profession. Because in all honesty, Nigeria, in our own time, being a banker, being a doctor, being a lawyer that was the in thing. But not anymore, because the doctors are poorly paid. The lawyers beg you for money, we entrepreneurs for money. So so at the end of the day, those people in the creative sector of the economy, they are the ones ruling for now. And the youths are seeing them. And the youths want to toe that line. And in towing that line, they dress up like them to just say, okay, we identify with you. This is what is trendy. And I must say this too. It's not
and we're losing you. You're making
enough for you to just say, oh, I don't like the way you dress or something. It's not enough for you to say that everywhere you see a young man sagging today, I don't like the way you're sagging. I believe that there is something that is making you sag your I'll engage you in a discussion. Oh, you look nice, this. So why do you think you should dress this way? You give me your thoughts. And then I can proffer better information to you to tell you the reasons why you shouldn't be dressing this way for now, even if you believe that this is what it's supposed to be. because of the insecurity around the nation. You may be profiled in the wrong manner and he will listen. But when you just say, don't dress like this, wait, he's like, old school, na mama, na old school, she doesn't know anything. That's it. That's how they see it. But when you relate with them, they can see you they can hear you based on superior reasoning. They'll follow through and say, mama, I don't know before, thank you, because for me, I have been in that sector where I believe I am an agent of change. And when youths appear around me, I always try to talk to them to feed out from their brain. What do you think? Why are you acting this way? And when
I guess her network is down.
Yeah, it's really.
Often times you're like, wow, so you is out there, they would not behave the way they are behaving. So it's left on us to educate. Hello, I'm back on air.
Yeah. Can I step in quickly? I totally agree with you. But my ideology, I wouldn't accost a teenager or a youth on the street who's wearing saggy pants. I won't tell them off or rebuke them the same way I would rebuke my son or my nephew or someone that I'm familiar with. If the person is familiar to me, my approach would be completely different from someone that is familiar to me. If I was to deal with my nephew or my son at home, I was like, come on, pull up your pants. Who wants to look at your dirty boxer shorts? But if I'm accosting someone who's unfamiliar to me, I'll probably tell them the history behind sagging pants.
Okay.
Sagging pants originated from the prisons in Chicago.
We know.
Yeah, and and it became, then they came out onto the streets and they started to, I don't have a problem with dreadlocks, but it's just the way that they do it now is they think it's I guess it's part of fashion, no doubt, and it's like you said, it's part of pop culture. However, I still think that some youths take it to the extreme in such a way they make it look very tacky. My sister, my older sister, she's a lecturer. She wears locks. My younger sister is she public servant. She wears locks. You can still wear locks and look decent. You can still wear tattoo and look decent. So it's the way you kind of apply it to yourself. It's the way you project yourself when you wear it. I see boys wearing these dreadlocks, looking almost half naked with gaping pants. Sagging pants, wearing probably two trainers with two different color laces, and doing I'm a Yahoo boy. I'm sure you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it's not about this discussion is not about me and you now. What I'm saying is my take.
I'm enjoying this discussion, and the network is just.
Is the bigger picture out there. People in the home. Yeah, I get that clear. But I'm just saying that for all of us here today, we should see this as something that we should think through. And that anybody we see around us, we owe it to them to tell them how things are supposed to be done. If they are not doing it correctly, that's the point I'm trying to make. That it's beyond us. We have a right to be irritated with that kind of. It's an eyesore. I agree, but if only we can be patient enough to say, boy, that's where I'm going to, because it's not about me and you. It's about the bigger and the general picture of everything. So basically, what it is that this struggle it started with a protest. I see a revolution. We are on it and we're not backing out. Everyone in diaspora, be rest assured, we are home based and we are ready. We are well traveled and we know what it takes. We know how people out there live. And we know we are better off in our country than being out there. So we are ready to fix country. We are not backing down. Like I said, less than half of Nigerian youths are out on the streets. More are going to come out with the right information be disseminated. So use your space, whatever medium you have is a channel to send out the right messages, not just rumors or hearsay, right, verified, truthful messages, and more people will come to realization that this is the truth and this is the time. So rest assured, my page is there, Instagram handle. I am now a broadcaster. So I am ready for whatever it is. We're going to stay the long haul and we are ready. The governments must change. Nigeria will be restructured to the glory of the Most High God. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Grace. You have always been like this growing up. I love that. Thank you so much. Oshoke, the mic is back to you.
All right, thank you, Pat. Thank you, everybody, for your contribution. So basically, I see serious change coming in governance because we're getting the attention of the political class, the elite. I think they are jittery right now because this is how the Arab Spring started. It started with just one guy that was expressing his discomfort about the way the government was treating him, and he set himself ablaze in the market, and that's how it started. Yes, you could say the foreign nations had a hand in it. Yeah, that's true. But you see, I see something coming up here. You know what Fela said? Fela said that this kind of thing is difficult to happen in Nigeria because the average Nigerian is afraid. I need to take care of my mother. I don't want to die. I don't want to lose my life. My children are there and all that. But you see what's going on. People have defied that. People are putting their lives online, and one or two people have actually died. So I see the government being jittery and being forced to listen to what these people are saying. That is what I see. And it's going to trickle down to even the lowest areas of governance, even in our ministries and all that. People are going to be so conscious of the fact that somebody is watching you and will expect you to do the right thing, or else. You see, the other day I traveled to Benin last week, and in the bus I took, as usual, there were police checkpoints on the road. And as usual, they will stop the bus driver and, of course, demand for something, demand for it, probably because they know your papers are not complete. But this time around, when the bus driver got to the checkpoint, first of all, the policemen were not on the road arrogantly as they used to be. They were on the side. And as soon as the driver slowed down, they just exchanged pleasantries. And the driver said something like, if you stop me, you will see yourself on TV right now. If you make any unnecessary demands, you'll be on TV. But I'll just film you and all that. Then please, carry your hand and just go away. So now with technology, you don't know who you are talking to. You don't know who is recording you. You don't know who is videoing you. You don't know who that person knows. So everybody's being cautious now to, abide by the original tenets of discipline that they were called. And I see those things happening throughout, everywhere, not only in SARS, like I keep saying, in the business communities, everywhere. A change has started. Now, what we can do to keep this, the government officials are also watching, like when you say you need like 30 days for the United Nations to come in. I don't know, maybe because of the presidential debate going on in the US, I expect to see this on CNN, but it's not there the way it ought to be.
Sarah, okay. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, please.
Really, you can't hear me.
I can't hear you, please.
Okay. Well, the rest of you can't hear me. All right, let me raise my voice. Okay, so
yeah,
I see a change coming. I see we getting the attention of the government, and I see them being jittery. I see them thinking of what to do. First of all, to quell this uprising, then also to meet into the demands, the ones that they can meet immediately. So, like somebody said, we need to use our platforms to promote what is going on. I interact with a lot of youths. and have a platform, and I encourage them. I try and shape their opinions, to what is decent and what is proper in the society. But I also let them know that they have rights, which our fathers didn't really spend time educating us on. Rather, they told us to be quiet, to be submissive, and not to look for trouble. But we need to let these guys know that there is time to look for trouble and look for the government's trouble. That's the only way they can hear you. So everybody use your platform, push. Uh, um, let's see how we can support these people on ground to hit the 30-day mark so that the United Nations and other people can actually come in and we can get global attention. That is what I have to say for now. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll quickly say, Oshike, just so you know, Kate Osamo, the MP for Edmonton in the UK, she's already questioning Mr. Rapp, Dominic Rapp, bringing it to his attention what's going on there. So there's a lot that's been done. I'm just seeing some videos from protest from Trafalgar Square, and it's shocking, I would say. The amount of people out there protesting now, I mean, it's almost 9 o'clock and they're still out there. So I think I still say this is going to be different. This, for some weird reason, is going to be different. It's a movement that you really don't understand, thinking that, look, this is barely 10 days, and the amount of organization structure that is behind this, it's mind-boggling. So hopefully, I think there's something going to be different. But I just thought I'd throw that in now. I just saw that Kate Suzanne Edmonton.
Okay, awesome.
Dominic Rapp.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you, Oshoke. While Oshoke was speaking, someone just joined us. We've spent close to almost 2 hours talking on this issue. Now, I'd just like to call on that last person to round up for all we've been saying. Now, welcome, Chris Agbade. We've been on the topic of the protests going on the End SARS stroke SWAT. So what do you think about it? Can you just briefly speak to us and so that we can round up? We've been on for almost 2 hours. Chris, if you can hear us, we are waiting for you, please. Since you just joined in, we would like to hear what you have to say about the protests going on.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good evening. Sorry, I'm joining quite late. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What's happening now in terms of the protests, depending on which side of the fence someone, the side of the fence that you are on, it has an energy that's not been seen in a long time, especially since the Occupy Nigeria that took place several years ago. Now, what is most interesting about this particular protest, apart from it, youth-oriented, is the fact that they are demanding nothing out of the ordinary. They are demanding that social injustice, an injustice of any kind, should be addressed. Now, for a long time, we are very much. Hello? Hello? Hello?
We're hearing you.
Hello, Chris, we can hear you, please.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. Now, we've known for a long time that governance in Nigeria seemed to run along the lines of this lack of security of purpose. And unfortunately, the people elected to lead by example, the kind of not just life, the kind of things that should be affordable, and the rights of citizens and everything. For we've not seen it. We've not seen it for decades. Now comes an administration that, overpromised and underperformed. And I think what really broke camel's back, if I may be correct, especially after the post-COVID partial ease of lockdown, especially in Nigeria, was when the Nigerian Union and the Trade Union Congress, were meant to go into a meeting representing a certain sector of Nigerians. However, they forgot that before this time, the universities and higher institutions had their challenges, and government did not address these issues. In a country of 200 million people, you have almost 65%. Talking about between 16 years to 35 years. How did they not see this coming? Especially when they promised that they will put their hand to the plow and work for the people to better people's lives. So I just think that it had gotten to critical mass. It was just a question of when. And now it's happening. And the protests there, apart from the one I witnessed in Abuja, I'm back in Lagos now. I came in yesterday night. It took me how many hours? I got home at after 1 in the morning. And all I would say is that the people out there remain resolute. They know what they want. And this is just to bring to consciousness of each and every one of us what are our rights as citizens. Those things have been stripped from us. We have been deprived of who we are, citizens in this country. So I think the time has actually come. I am glad that it is driven, because it comes from the anger is not displaced at all. The leadership has not led by example. Basic amenities are not there. The cost of living is skyrocketing. What were they expecting? So to bring this to perspective, social injustice is being addressed. Everything from police reform is just a stepping stone. Because there's insecurity, there is lack of any form of sincerity in the things that they are proposing. So yes, they have said that the 5 what we are hoping for is in the next couple of days is to see how the leadership in this country is going to address the situation. What I would want to see is them in a sincere manner, especially if it came from the top. I don't know whether it's going to be a national broadcast, but a personal touch would have made it a bit different to douse tensions. Because I would tell you that these guys are not going anywhere. And like someone said, when I joined briefly, that these guys are so organized. Yes, they are. I know that they've raised quite a number of money. They have assistance in terms of legal advice. The medical people are on ground. They are. And that is the kind of mindset which I find a bit refreshing, especially in the ecosystem in which we live in. So, in perspective, in whatever way one could be of assistance to one another, even if it's not the main End SARS organization, I would say that let's be conscious of wherever we are and see how we can be of assistance. Do they need mental health counselors and advisors, people that they could talk to about one or two traumatic experience? If we are in that particular field, we could be of assistance. Could we volunteer some of our time to be able to help out in this given situation, because it will come to define us as a people as we go along. All right, so I say to all of us that let's be conscious that as long as our purpose is with sincerity, it will go a long way, to change, see changes. All right, that has not been seen in our society in a long time. So that all of you are here today show me that we're concerned about what goes on around us, and we're concerned on how we can be able to, So I thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you everyone for your time and your patience. Some people logged off. I think they have to go attend to some issues, but I like to say this. I think we'll have a part 2 of this and come back to get a feedback of what we've seen so far. Now let's look at the next 3 days and see what the outcomes will be. But I feel it's going to be positive. Like I said from the beginning, this is the first time we are all coming together having one voice. This is not about a religious fight or ethnic fight. This is one voice. Together we are going to make this. And I am pleading with all those who joined in from the diaspora. Don't just stay there and watch the happenings. Let's be part of this change. This is the little contribution I can do. This is how I can bear my voice out. That is why I put this thing together. So I'm saying we'll have a part 2 of this and get more people to hear their views. And by then we'll have a positive outcome to look at, fall back on. So I'd like to thank Auntie Anna for joining. I'd like to thank Richard, Grace Omozoge, Pat Osobase, OZ Liberty, who has left, Oshoke Lobe, Ogogo Usamere, Chris Agbaje, and Bubemi Obioro. So thank you all and have a lovely night. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Ooh. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. God bless you.